All right. Well, good afternoon. My name is Christian Grant, and I serve as state representative for the 82nd District. The 82nd District, my most northern border is Fulton, so right down the middle of downtown. And then I come all the way down to 44th Street, so I'm like a city block up from where we are right now. So I get Southeast Grand Rapids, one precinct in Wyoming. I have a colleague, she and I pretty much split downtown, and then I come down Monroe as it turns into Market, and it kind of wanders through there into a little piece of Wyoming. So, what makes me so proud is that I basically get to represent exactly where I grew up. So I get to represent my neighbors, my family, my friends, people that I've known my entire life, and get to work on issues that are really important to them. As state representative, this is my second term, so I am in my fourth year right now. Before I served as state representative, I served 6 years on the Grand Rapids Public School Board, and did not plan to be in politics or anything like that. But when my daughter was in elementary school, I just had, questions about education, things that all parents want to see their children thriving and doing well. And someone told me, if you're concerned, then you should get involved. I thought I was too young, so I said no. But 2 years later, there was another school board election, and some of the individuals who had been on the school board for a really long time were coming off. And so they called me again, said, will you run? And I decided to run. I think by a couple of months, hold the record to be the youngest person who ever served on the Grand Rapids Public School Board. But I served there for 6 years, and what I learned is when you are dealing with our babies and our families, that is the most important work that you can ever do. Also, it's work that exposes you to everything, because when I joined the school board, I thought we'd be working on school issues, right? Education. But what I found is we were working on, did these babies eat today? Are they going to eat tonight? Can they come to school with clean clothes? We have washing machines and dryers in our buildings. Is their mental health okay? Do they have someplace warm to be, someplace safe to be tonight? And so our schools are really taking everything for the community. And I have thoughts about whether or not they should be doing that, but the fact of the matter is that they are. And I think that work really shaped me, not being a voice for some of the most vulnerable people, right? Our kids, they can't vote. They can't often come up and verbalize what's wrong, but they are the best of us, and we have to represent them well. And I think there is a lot of correlation with that, as well as the work that I see that's needed when we talk about our veterans, when we talk about people who have gone out and served this country, put their lives on the line. When they come home, do you have a roof over your head that is safe, a place that you want to be? Are your benefits showing up on time and ready, right? Like, do you have the mental health and supports that you need? Do you feel as if you are a welcome part of our community? And so really what I find is my job is to be a voice for people. And I had someone call my office, and it was a lady. She lives right in Southeast Grand Rapids, and she wasn't holding any punches. She called, and she was calling about a neighbor, and her neighbor's roof was falling in. Her neighbor was an older woman, and she was telling us what we better do and what we better do right now. But one thing that I told my staff is, I said, I respect her so much for having that much passion to fight for somebody else, right? Someone who wasn't even herself. And she might not have been the nicest But was on a mission, and she was going to make sure that the job got done. And when we can't advocate for ourselves, the greatest thing that someone can give us is to be an advocate for us and on our behalf. And I don't care who you are, we all are going to need somebody to advocate for us at some point in time. And so I just started a new series called Sunday Dinner and Dialogue. And once a quarter, I'm hosting community dinners. They're fashioned after Sunday dinners that you would have in a church basement when you go downstairs after church and have mashed potatoes and green beans and chicken. But really the goal of these Sunday dinners is to create community. Because right now, what I feel whenever I'm talking to my constituents is that people are looking for a place, a safe place. Right now, there's so much going on. There's a lot of divisiveness.
Yeah.
And what happens when you have people divided is that we have people falling through the cracks. And politics is being pushed in our face, but real issues aren't being addressed. And so these Sunday dinners are spaces for people to just come and ask questions and talk and see what's going on. It may be that they need some help, or it may be people saying, I want to help, right? I get both of those things all the time. And so this year, my real focus is to create more spaces for community, for conversation, and for people to feel as if they have a place that they belong. So please know that I'm an asset. My office is an asset. People they call us for state level things, but they call for city level things. They call for federal level things. We can't always fix those because they're outside of my power, but we can direct you to the right place and make sure that you're connected to the right people. So during my time, my focus in the State House has really been around economic development. And when I first ran, people were like, why aren't you talking about education? Why are you talking about money? And my response was, because when I've worked to serve 17,000 students and families, I realized that before those babies can learn, they needed those same things that we're talking about, the roof over their head. They need their parents to have a car and a job. They need food on the table. And now we can learn all day. These are the smartest babies you've ever met. But if you're coming to school, your clothes haven't been washed in weeks, you don't know when's the last time you ate, you were scared last night so you could barely sleep, or you were cold, right? Then you want me to sit down and read and memorize? It doesn't work that way. And so what I realize is that we have to make sure that our families and our community members have access to the resources that they need to live a healthy life. And so economic development has really been my focus. And economic development in the sense of, how are we supporting small businesses? How are we bringing jobs that are paying good wages? How are we investing in things right in the city? We have business corridors that have vacant buildings and infrastructure that hasn't been fixed and repaired. How do we address those things? So my first term, I was able to craft a program that was the first time the state ever gave grants to minority businesses. So we had $10 million in grants for minority businesses. This year, I'm working on a budget proposal that would address some of the business corridors in Southeast Grand Rapids that have been overlooked. Places like Oakdale and Eastern, Division and Burton and Eastern, Madison and Hall. How are we investing in those places, giving them a facelift, giving the property owners access to resources so that we don't have to drive 20 minutes outside of our community to get the things that we need, but we can walk down the street if we want to, and those buildings are no longer vacant, but they're being used. So that's the project I'm working on now. I'm working with the city, and I'm really excited about that. During my time, I've passed 15 bills out of the House, and 10 of those made it through the Senate and made it to the governor's desk to become a law. Those were issues like requiring background checks for all gun purchases.